Okay, so today we're going to talk about this room. It's called Blue, but basically it's referred to as internal Blue. So it's a vulnerability that allows people to have access to the machine using a flaw in SMBH. So when you open up the room, the first thing you need to do is do some reconnaissance. So when you talk about reconnaissance, you're referring to port scanning, looking for information, make information harvesting, credential harvesting, looking for things that could give you access to something. And in this room, we're looking for a version that could be exploited in terms of what we can do. All right, so it's so like I said, you need to do some port scanning, and Nmap is your friend when it comes to port scanner or network scanning. And then the next thing is we want to look at ports are open and under the 100, like how many of them. So when you run the port scan, you'll find that there's 3 of them that are open, and then the next thing is like it's now asking you what vulnerability could this machine be susceptible to. So from this information that you found here, you find that these ports it's vulnerable to this vulnerability, so which is MS, MS 17, which is basically vulnerability that impacts SMB, and then it's also an RCE type of vulnerability, which means that you can run code. So that's what that is basically referred to. But it's also being used by other malware out there to actually exploit some of the flaws in terms of using SMB to actually get into a system. So WannaCry or ransomware uses it. Petya also uses it, if I can recall, and other ones as well. So once you get that, now you find out that it's vulnerable. So the next thing you need to do is, what are you going to do to exploit it? So you can use our friend Metasploit for that. And so if you just use Metasploit, Metasploit already has this vulnerability inside of its database. So when you arrive at Metasploit, you can actually search for it. So you can search for either internal Blue or the vulnerability that we're looking at, the SMB vulnerability. We'll give you information. You just need to use the search keyword, and then this string, internal Blue or the vulnerability code. And then once you see it, you can just copy and paste it from the list of usable exploits, and then you need to set. So the next one is like, what value do you need to set? So you need to set which machine you're going to attack. So if you have started the virtual machine, you can get the IP of that virtual machine, which is the victim's machine, and then connect to it. If you're using your own machine, you can connect to the machine, to the victim's machine from your Kali or Parrot OS or some sort of security distro that has your tools that can run Metasploit or other tools related to the room. So once you set the remote host, so this is the victim machine or the virtual machine, and then the next thing is you can set this if you want if not, it'll basically once once you run exploit, it will give you a interpreter shell. But if you set the payload to give you a reverse shell, meaning that once it's executed, it is a reverse shell, and you'll see a prompt from Windows. So you can set that to give you that prompt shell or that shell. And then the next one is, because now you have accessed the system and you have a shell, now you would want to escalate it. And also in terms of persistence, you would also want to maybe use what you call interpreter to actually sustain that session persistence, maybe doing other things you can imagine. So this task tree basically is trying to set up interpreter, so taking control of the shell and then moving that shell to a interpreter session, then letting interpreter do all the other work. But you can also do that in the MF console, and then yeah. So in interpreter, you will need to set the session, and then the session will be what you're going to need to look at, or maybe the session ID that you want. So you can get that from the shell, what session IDs are there once it's exploited. And then looking at other options to setting up like persistency and all the other stuff. So once you're in, you can actually escalate your privileges, and if you can escalate the privileges, you'll find out that you can do a lot of system commands, and then from there you can just do much more damage or find ways to do things. So here it's like once you get in, you can now migrate the shell into an interpreter, and an interpreter can transfer into hijacking a process and then staying persistent in that process. The only time that you might need to maybe put something there is when they shut down the machine, but yeah, so those are the other levels that you might do later on. So then so they ask you, once you get inside, maybe have a feel of the system, look around, you can now use your shell or interpreter to actually find out what users are on the system, and then probably dump those hashes for later. So when you run the hash dumps, you will get a list of the users that are there, and I think the non-default user that was there is John. I think there was 9C3 or something, and then administrator. And I think there was one more, I don't remember. But then, so you already get the hashes, so at least you get the hash. Now you can then run the hash against a password cracker, and then or maybe Hashcat or John the Ripper. John the Ripper is the one that was used in this one. So you use John the Ripper, and then you can get a good password list. I think for this one you can still use the Rocky password list, and then you can just crack it. Depending on how fast your computer is, you can crack it in a very fast pace. It will give you, it will highlight you the password on the left, and then the hash on the right. And then basically now you have access to John, so you can log in as John, or you can hijack John, or many ways you can find it in terms of impersonating John's account. But and then the next task was to now look for the flag. So you don't really need to log into as John as long as you have privilege. So I think with this one, if you've escalated the interpreter's process to be a higher process in terms of getting into the system, you can run anything, and you can even scroll through the different directories. So the first flag is probably at the C drive. You'll find that it's flag1.txt, and it's on the C drive. So if you're coming from interpreter, you can't use the type command, but you can use the cat command. So if you're using interpreter because it's maybe escalated, then you can use the cat command, and then you can cat the flag.1. Same goes to, and if you're going from the shell, which if you have like a John shell or administrator shell, you can maybe go through the other parts. So in this one, you'll find this one in the C drive, or not. Yeah. So Windows has a way of storing stuff in a config file in the System32 config folder in the System32 directory under Windows. So C Windows System32 config folder, and then you'll find that there's a flag there called flag prefront text. So you can use, like, if you're using interpreter, using cat, if you're using a standard shell, using the standard and privileged shell, you can cat, you can type the flag. And then the last flag, so this one is on John's account. So you'll probably find it that it's in the directory. We found it as location to pretty interesting things. So you can find this one. It's flag 3. So it's in documents. In that document, so you'll find it in the John's document folder, and then you find that there's a flag there. So flag 3 is the one. Flag 3 dot text. Yeah, and then basically that's it. So using Eternal Blue, you kind of find out to okay, first you kind of was looking for a system. You found out that it can be exploited using a vulnerability which is MS1700, which is SMB RSE, remote code execution, and then you kind of went in there and then kind of escalate your privileges, becoming more admin or something. And then you kind of found out the hashes, and then now you want to maybe find out some more stuff in the system. And then you cracked it. So you pulled it down, maybe using SMB get, or once you're inside there as anonymous, you can just use the get command and then just get the file or dump it to the current directory that you logged in from the F2P client, and then you can just do some more stuff. And then once you're done, then you just go around maybe looking for files that could be of interest. And in this case, task 5 was like looking for the flag. So those are files of interest, looking for the flags. And then once you finish it, then you complete the room. Yeah, so it's not too complicated and it's not too difficult. Not too easy, because you do need to learn about a little bit about what Eternal Blue does, and also need to know about the privilege escalation parts, like moving from one user to another user, shifting a process that has a session to another process that doesn't have that require that you can stay persistent on. Okay, so yeah, so that's about the Blue Room, or the Eternal Blue in Windows. Well, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next.